Pressure cooking. This is the very important and the widely used method of cooking these days. A relatively small increase in temperature can drastically reduce cooking time, and this fact is utilized in the pressure cooker. So this is the principle of pressure cooking. Increase in temperature can reduce the cooking time. This is the principle of pressure cooking, and we employ this principle in the pressure cooking method. In pressure cooking, the escaping steam is trapped and kept under pressure. So in the pressure cooker, we know that there is a pan and it has a lid. In the lid, there is a nozzle in the top, and through this nozzle, the steam escapes when the pressure cooker is heated. And this escaping steam is trapped, which means we put on the weights when the steam escapes through the nozzle, and therefore the escaping steam is trapped and it is kept under pressure. Because the steam is not able to escape through the nozzle, the pressure increases inside the pressure cooker. The temperature of boiling water and steam is therefore raised above 100 degrees centigrade, and this can reduce the cooking time. Because we are putting on the weights, the pressure inside the pressure cooker increases, and this also increases the temperature, and therefore it can reduce the cooking time to a great extent. The domestic pressure cooker is usually constructed of heavy gauge aluminium. They are heavy. The thickness of the pressure cooker is really larger. So that is called as the heavy gauge aluminium. And now these days we also get the pressure cookers in the stainless steel. And the pressure is regulated by weights placed on the release valve. So the pressure inside the pressure cooker is regulated by the weight that we put on the nozzle-like thing, which is called as the release valve. So periodically we can see that the whistle goes off, and during that time the pressure that has been built inside the pressure cooker is released. So the pressure does not get built up and cause dangerous effects. At periodical interval of time, you can see that the weights they lift and the steam is liberated, and this we call it as the whistle. And this helps in regulating the pressure inside the pressure cooker. And in the lid, beside the release valve or the nozzle, there is a circular portion which is called as the safety valve. And this safety valve is fitted to the lid in order to prevent excess pressure building up beyond safe and specified level for that particular vessel construction. So that circular portion is provided in the lid. Say for example, if the pressure in the pressure cooker builds up because there is some obstruction in the nozzle and the steam is not liberated through the nozzle, what will happen? The safety valve will blow off, and through the safety valve, the steam will come out of the pressure cooker so that it does not cause any accidents. A common practice in pressure cooking is to allow copious flow of steam from the release valve before capping it with the weight. So when do we place the weight on the release valve? We place the weight on the release valve only when we see that the steam escapes from the nozzle. Only when the steam starts escaping from the nozzle, we will fix the weight. And what you should not do is, you should not fix up the weight and then put the lid even before you put the cooker in the burner. That is, you should not place the weights on the release valve before the steam gets liberated from the pressure cooker. Why should we not do this? The escaping steam should be visible. Only then the weights should be fixed in the lid. This ensures that all air is removed before the cooking process starts. So only when the steam starts escaping from the nozzle, it gives an indication that the air present in the pressure cooker has been removed. Even the presence of a small quantity of air with the steam diminishes the heat transfer properties of the steam drastically. If you are going to cap the nozzle before the escape of steam, what will happen? There will be some amount of air that will remain inside the pressure cooker. And if air is present along with the steam, it will reduce the heat transferring property. That is why we should first allow the escape of steam through the release valve, and then fix the weight. 10% of volume of air will almost double the cooking time, and therefore purging is the escape of steam. Purging of the enclosed air is therefore a vital step in using pressure cooker. Advantages of pressure cooking. It takes very less time to cook. If we cook the rice in the open pot boiling method, it may take 20 to 30 minutes for cooking the rice. And if the same rice is cooked in the pressure cooker, it may take less than 10 minutes. So there is a big difference in the time taken by cooking in the pressure cooker. Different items may be cooked at the same time. And the separators are available which can be kept inside the pressure cooker. And using the separators, you can cook rice, dal, vegetables all at the same time. And therefore, different types of foods can be cooked at the same time. Because we are cooking different types of foods at the same time, the fuel is saved during the pressure cooking process. And also, it requires less attention. Once you fix up the weight, then you can count the number of whistles that are required for cooking a particular food. We know how much of whistles are required for cooking rice, dal, or Bengal gram, that is the chana dal. Accordingly, you don't have to stay near the stove. You don't have to remain near the pressure cooker all the time. So there is an indication for the cooking that has been completed. Nutrient or flavor loss may be less because we are not using excess water here. If you are going to cook the rice or the dal, we keep only the sufficient amount of water. Excess water is not used and that water is not going to be discarded. And therefore, there is less loss of nutrient and flavor. And the food is thoroughly cooked by this method. And there is always an indication for the completion of cooking. You can count the number of whistles and it indicates the completion of cooking. And there is less chance for scorching or burning. The food does not come into direct contact with the flame, and therefore there is less chance of burning. The disadvantages are thorough knowledge of using the equipment is required. So you should know that the pressure cooker has two components, the bottom pan and the upper lid, and in the upper lid you have to fix a rubber gasket, and at the bottom there is a perforated plate that has to be used, and and small amount of water has to be taken in the bottom pan, and inside that you can add rice directly, or you can use another utensil to hold the rice, and you have to fix the lid properly over the pan. So you have to know the technique that is used in used for pressure cooking using a pressure cooker. Otherwise, accidents can happen if you don't put the rubber gasket properly, or if you forget to have water in the bottom pan. Accidents may sometimes happen, and there may be mixing of flavor. Say, for example, you are cooking vegetables along with dal and rice. The flavor of the vegetable may be present in the dal, and therefore mixing of flavor is possible, and food may sometimes become undesirably soft. So the grainy consistency of the rice may not be obtained while we pressure cook, and if you keep the rice in the pressure cooker after cooking, the rice may become more gelatinous, and the grainy rice may not be available if you keep the rice in the pressure cooker for a long time. Food cooked in pressure cooker or rice, dal, vegetables, meat, etc. The next process of cooking is called as blanching. Blanching is the process of immersing the food in boiling liquid followed by immersing the food in cold water. So it is not actually a cooking process. We just dip the food in the boiling water, and after some time we dip the same food in the cold water. This is not actually a cooking method, but it is used in the pre-preparation of the food. This destroys the microbes present on the outer surface of the food because of the heat. It also helps in the inactivation of the enzyme, and it is a preliminary step in the preservation. So there are two advantages of blanching. One, it will remove the microorganisms, and the second is it can inactivate the enzymes that are present in the food. So this you can see here, the blanching that takes place, the blanching of the tomatoes and the cauliflower and also the greens. Advantages: the skin or peel can be removed easily. It is a preparatory method for canning and freezing. You can see that once you blanch the tomatoes, the skin can be easily removed, which cannot be done when it is not blanched. And it is a preparatory method for canning as well as the freezing of the food. Enzymes that cause spoilage are removed, and those that cause browning are also inactivated in the blanching process. Blanching causes better exposure of the pigment, and therefore it improves the color of the product. When the tomatoes are blanched, the color of the product that is prepared from the blanched tomatoes are really good because it exposes the pigment lycopene that are present in the tomatoes. Disadvantages: water-soluble nutrients may sometimes be lost, and blanching for a long time would make the food undesirably soft. The next method is called as sauteing. Sauteing is a method of cooking that uses a relatively small amount of oil or fat in a shallow pan where the food is cooked at a relatively high temperature. We need a pan for this. The food is cooked at a high temperature, and the medium for cooking is either oil or fat. The ingredients for sauteing are usually cut into pieces, or they are thinly sliced in order to facilitate fast cooking. The primary mode of heat transfer during sauteing is conduction between the pan and the food being cooked. In a saute, all the ingredients like the vegetables and whatever you use for the seasoning, onions or garlic, everything are added at once, and they are cooked quickly. The food is spread across the hot fat in the pan, and it is left to brown for even cooking. So the food is spread across the pan so that it gets browned evenly. To facilitate this, the ingredients are rapidly moved around in the pan, either by the use of a spatula or ladle, or by repeated jerking of the pan. So you have to always mix up the ingredients that are present inside the pan by the use of a spatula or a ladle. This can also be done by tossing. Tossing is the entire food is taken in the pan and it is tossed so that there is mixing of the ingredients in the pan, or stirring the items in the pan, or by shaking the pan. So the food that are usually sauteed, or the vegetable preparations. The different types of poriyal we prepare is done by the sauteing method. So here you can find how the food are sauteed. Advantages. It uses very less fat or oil. The food can be cooked very quickly. Color, flavor and the texture of the food are good and it takes very less time for cooking. Disadvantages. Variety of foods cannot be prepared using sauteing. Since high temperature is used, scorching or browning takes place. So in this segment, we have seen about the various moist methods of cooking, where the medium of cooking employs water or steam. We shall see the dry heat methods of cooking in the next segment. Thank you.